Hey everybody, your friendly GM Bobby here with another special interview episode of Diary of a Game Master. Today, I am graciously joined by one Russell Zimmerman, an author, freelance writer, writes all sorts of stuff, right? Novels, all kinds of stuff for Shadowrun and other things. Am I right?
You are right. I've done my best to keep busy.
Yeah, well, why don't you, I know who you are, and some other people, lots of people probably listening know who you are, but for those of you, or those of my listeners, viewers out there who don't, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, my name is Russell Zimmerman. If you ever catch me at a con, I'm probably going to answer to Rusty instead. But all my writer credits are under Russell, so I sound a little bit less like someone's dog or a clown. I am a freelancer. Most of my freelance work has been with Shadowrun, especially the last 5 or 6 years. I got started in the industry a little bit before that, actually writing for No Quarter magazine. Did a couple products for Privateer Press with War Machine and Hordes. But yeah, about the last 5 years, I've been working pretty steadily for Shadowrun, and I've kind of carved out a niche there in the Shadowrun universe, and then started to do some kind of tie-in stuff with sister products to Shadowrun and a couple other kind of cyberpunk works.
How long have you been doing Shadowrun stuff?
My first Shadowrun work was actually for the book Attitude, which was about 5.5 years ago. That's the one with the caution tape boobs on the cover. It's not my favorite cover art, but it was just a really cool opportunity. And then I followed that up immediately with Way of the Adept, which was kind of my first kind of big hit. That was my solo product.
Okay.
The powers that be didn't plan on it. I kind of had to sell them on the idea of the book. And then it's just been diving in ever since. Street Legends and spy games, lots of stuff in those. And yeah, just everything I can get my paws on since then.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Now, 5 or 6 years ago, I'm not familiar with the Attitude book you were talking about, but what was that? Was that a 4th or 3rd edition?
It was late 4th. It was by that time we were in the 20th anniversary edition.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of the street smarts and pop culture and sports and media.
Right.
On being a Shadowrunner in the Shadowrun universe and what else is in the Shadowrun universe besides Shadowrunners.
That's cool. For some reason, I had it in my head that you had been doing some sort of writing for Shadowrun since like 1st or 2nd edition. I don't know why.
I've been playing Shadowrun since 1st and 2nd edition.
Maybe I got some wires crossed or something there.
And I've been pretty active on the fan forums and stuff kind of forever. Not quite as long as Bull, but I don't think anybody has been active online quite as long as Bull. But yeah, no, I got into Shadowrun that first Christmas that it came out, Christmas of 1989, when I was supposed to be doing Christmas shopping at the Florence Mall in Florence, Kentucky. I was instead scoping out what I wanted to buy myself with my Christmas money.
Right.
And I found it there at, I don't remember if it was the B. Dalton or the Walden Books, but even the fact that it wasn't Amazon or Barnes & Noble kind of dates the story.
Well, to date you a little bit more, or maybe not to date you, but to make you feel older than you might already. I was when you were first getting into Shadowrun, I was I think starting kindergarten.
That's good. I was in fairness, I was only 8th grade or freshman in high school, something like that.
Sure.
But yes, I've been playing it forever. But yeah, I just got into the writing for it about 5, maybe 6 years ago. So yeah, I've just snuck in a little bit whenever I could. So it's been keeping me pretty busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, to round out our introduction to who is Rusty Zimmerman, you mentioned some other. You do some other, or you have done some other RPG writing?
Yeah, I actually got started in the industry writing for the war game War Machine with Privateer Press. In a couple of their No Quarter, they have a bi-monthly magazine. So I kind of got started in, I want to say it was No Quarter 16. I did a couple of No Quarter articles for them. And then I wrote some stuff that only about half of it ever saw the light of day after that. But they had a game called Monster Apocalypse. And we were going to write like an online blog of some kids that were like monster hunters, like the
Right.
tornado chasers. And these were like a bunch of kids in a van that drove wherever there was like this Godzilla type monster sighting. And we were going to use this kind of fake blog to introduce concept art, because one of the kids in the van was an artist. So they draw
Cool.
a picture, and it's how we'd show some concept art and stuff. And it started off, and then they got a new web guy for the company, and he was like, yeah, this is too much work. I'm not going to do this. So it kind of sucked, because we got it started, and we made accounts for these kids on the Monster Apocalypse forums. And we started posting as them in character. It was really, it was kind of like the Jack Pointer comments in Shadowrun.
Right.
Some neat fan interaction stuff, and getting kind of meta with it. And it was really fun. And I worked on it for like 2 months, and then he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. It's too much work. So that kind of dried up. And then by then I'd been talking to Jason and did start on Shadowrun within about a year. In between there, I worked on a game called Spine Spur. So I was the lead writer on the fiction writing in this Spine Spur game. It was a skirmish scale war game in kind of a purgatory hell type of setting. So lots of horror movie tropes and cool dark stuff like that. But yeah, then I kind of springboarded over to Shadowrun. Did Shadowrun stuff for about 3 years, just uninterrupted, nothing but Shadowrun. And then I started branching out. I did some Shadowrun Returns work. I was in that anthology for that video game.
Right.
And that kind of counted as branching out, but it was still Shadowrun, right?
Sure.
And then I actually emailed the guys doing the Satellite Rain video game Kickstarter, old school cyberpunk stuff. And they were doing this kind of spiritual successor to it.
Right.
And I just liked their Kickstarter. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I told my wife, I said, baby, I want to back this for like all the money. And I'm lucky in that I met my wife playing Shadowrun. So she gets it. She's on board. And she was like, and she just gives me this grin, and she's like, well, why don't you just email them and see if you can like work for your dinner? And I did. I just emailed them. I said, hey, do you guys have a writer yet? And about a week later, they put out a Kickstarter update that, we're getting cyberpunk author Russell Zimmerman. A little bit before that, my first Shadowrun novella came out, and that was neat, which kind of kickstarted Jimmy Kincaid and that stuff.
Right.
Kind of since that year, I've been transitioning more and more towards writing fiction. Yeah, just kind of been shifting gears to more fiction work. And one little fiction hint I can give, because it's also an RPG tie-in,
Sure.
but I'm working on some stuff for the V20 guys. They're doing some Dark Ages fiction.
Oh, okay,
So
great.
I'm starting to kind of branch out, do a little bit of Onyx Path, still doing a bunch of stuff with Catalyst, not turning away from Shadowrun. I'm actually going to double down on Catalyst. We're trying to work out some scheduling issues and see if I can't start doing some Battletech fiction too. So
Nice.
yeah, just writing for kind of whoever I can write for. It's my full-time gig now. So the more
That's
the merrier,
exciting.
the more cool stories I get to tell, the happier a camper I am.